Well, hello and welcome to the Pastor Study. Solomon tells us a mark that we should aim for. He tells us that we should apply our hearts to discipline. Apply our hearts to hearing words of knowledge. Discipline, that diligence, that what it takes to study, work hard, to be studious, to be a hard worker in all that we do, to learn. That's where our focus should be in life. He says that is what brings about a needed part in our life. And then he gives a sort of a flip to side of that, and he talks about how you deal with a child. He says we are not to hold back discipline from a child. He says don't stay away from disciplining a child. Now that discipline can come in many forms. But one of the things he says, if there's spanking, if there's some small bit of pain. Now it's not a beating. It's not that you hit a person or a child so hard that they're injured. But some level of discipline. It speaks to their here. He says, they're not going to die, but it will bring a correction. He says it brings a correction to the point that it has the opportunity to rescue their soul from Sheol. What a heartache for any parent to watch their child because of actions that a child would take, a teenager, to see them put in prison, to see them put in jail, to see them separated from their home, all because they weren't taught properly when they were young. I would think you could ask any parent, if you could say, would you go back in time, if you could go back in time to when your child was 3 or 4 and needed some simple discipline that you failed to give, would you go back and give it now if you could? I'm sure they'd all say, absolutely, I wouldn't hesitate for a moment, because I don't want to see my Johnny or my Mary go into prison. I don't want to see them suffering because of not understanding the consequences of action. Solomon says, apply your heart to the disciplines of life and apply a little bit of discipline to your children, because it has a long-term benefit. Till next time, goodbye, and may God bless.